Hey folks, Jeff here from Wickedoil.com in Madison, Tennessee, your local Amsoil dealer. Let's see, today is Sunday, June the 19th, 6:40 p.m. Damn it, I gotta go back to work tomorrow. Oh well, anyway, so today's video concerns my 2020 PRS custom 24 SE Bonnie Pink. Been having a problem with the this fret right there, right above the 7th, I guess you call it the 8th fret. It had just a little hump just between the D and the A string, and it also had another one down here right in the same spot. The rest of the frets were pretty damn level. This thing, I didn't have to do much to it when I bought it. Every guitar you get, new or used, you have to do a setup on it. But anyway, so I pulled it down. It's been irritating the crap out of me. I put StringJoy strings on this thing I got this in October, and I think it was the end of October I decided to put it was a few days after. I think I got this around the 19th of October, 2021. Oh wait, this is a 2021 model, not a 2020. Anyway, I liked it right out of the box. You know, tuned it up, did everything. Love this guitar. Dude, this is way cool guitar. Way cool guitar. Anyway, I put StringJoy strings on it because these are made in Korea or some frickin' wherever PRS has them made. I really didn't expect they'd have the greatest strings on it in the first place, so I put some StringJoys on it. I did a video on that. You can just look at my other videos. I got one on this guitar playing through my Vox AC15. Anyway, great set of strings, 10 to 46s I believe is what I had on last time. Well, this time I did a light fret dress, polished everything, you know, leveled the two little problem areas, polished everything, lubricated the fretboard with some Murphy's oil, and put a new fresh set of strings on here. These are 9 to 46s, and this is not so much about the guitar particularly, although I'm fixing to play it a bit because who wants to listen to somebody yak the whole time. But anyway, this is more about, people make complaints about, you know, their pickups, their guitar doesn't sound the way they want it to and all that other stuff. And I would like to point out that, you know, if you do good things to your guitar, like good quality strings, and I would like to show you something right over quick. So I just put these strings on. I just tuned them up 6 minutes ago. I mean, straight from off of I got a String Tech workstation guitar for guitar repairs, a GPS model, and I just strung up the strings, lubricated the nut and the saddle with the nut sauce and stuff, and brought it in here, tuned it up to concert pitch using my old school Peterson strobe tuner, and I've been playing it for, I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes, probably about 4 minutes before I started the video. Now, I can't do that with my D'Addarios. I love my D'Addario strings, but These things, you tune them up, and I'll have to tune them one more time, and then I'll bet you 20 bucks I can come in here tomorrow morning after it's been sitting overnight and start playing it and not have to tune it. In fact, I bet I won't have to tune it when I come home from work tomorrow night and play it. That's because I buy Primo strings for this thing, for all my guitars. But back to the point about tone. Now, I've got, I believe, 10 electric guitars. And if you want to know about all of them, just look at my videos. I got a video on every one of them. And every one of them, well, most of them, have a distinct sound to them. Now, my Gibson Les Paul and my SG, they sound very similar, or they did until I changed the pickups in the Les Paul. But that one and my I've got a 98 Carvin bolt with C-series humbuckers I put in it, and all my other guitars have the original pickups in them, and this one has its own distinct sound. I've heard people complaining about these, going, well, you know, those I can't even remember what these pickups are called, 8515s or something like that. In fact, I think that's what they're called. And it's like, you know, when I first got this, I was like, wow, these are kind of different, stuff like that. But what I wanted to point out is that, you know, sometimes it's better to just write it out, do some experimenting, and realize that it's okay if this one doesn't sound like your other guitar. You don't want all your guitars to sound the same, because most of us have more than one. Now, if you don't, then this doesn't apply to you. Then if it doesn't have the sound that you want and you think changing pickups will do it, then do it. But for those of us that have multiple guitars, you know, the last thing you should do is put like Seymour Duncan pearly gates in all of your guitars, because you're putting the same flavor pickups in every guitar, okay? And it's silly to have multiple guitars and they all sound the same. I mean, they're all going to feel different, and that's, you know, makes you, at least for the most part, play different or slightly different. But I felt the temptation to change the pickups in this thing in the beginning, you know, within the first probably month, I'd say, of having this guitar. But then I thought, you know, there's nothing wrong with having a guitar that sounds different from my other guitars. And this one kind of does, not greatly different, but it has this distinct sound. Now I'm on the neck pickup right now, and I can split these pickups. Pull up the tone pot, and it splits both of them. So this is the bridge. Middle. ahead and give it that tune-up. Anyway, I am playing through my Fender Evil Twin, and don't even waste your time telling me, oh, those are bad amps, because you are full of money. Man, that is so freaking close right there. A is off just a little bit more. You know, I put my Darios on one of these guitars, and I'll have to tune it up, 10 times. Now the G went out of tune. That was what was messing up. I figured that's which one it was. And of course, this thing has a trim, so do slightest little tuning on one, it throws all the others out. But boy, once you get it in tune, it just sits there and stays in tune. I love these damn StringJoy strings. I think I paid tax and shipping for 3 sets. It was like, I think it was $38.50, or it might have been $42, whatever it was. It was all good. So let me go ahead and split these things real quick. Well, here, let me do humbucker, neck, middle, bridge, split, neck, middle, kind of has that Strat cork to it. God, I love this guitar. All right, it's time for a little bit of Anyway, all I really wanted to make a point of is that, you know, it's not necessarily your pickups that's causing your problem if you really think it's not giving you what you want. A lot of times, it's the way you got the amp set. Maybe you're using a cheap guitar cable, or you're using crappy strings that you've been sold on the idea that, oh my God, these are the greatest strings around, and maybe they're not. A good setup on your guitar. I mean, if you don't know how to do it yourself, go spend, what is it, about 85 bucks? Even if it's 100 bucks, who cares? Even if it's 150 bucks, if you get somebody that knows what they're doing, they'll make your guitar really play well. And you know, the best way to find out if somebody knows how to set up a guitar right is go see them and say, may I play one of your guitars that you've done a setup on, because I want to see if I like your work. I mean, that may not be the best way to say it, but you know, it's like, I'd like to have you do a setup on my guitar, but I'd like to sample something that you've done. You know, what do you have? And I mean, if you came over to see me and said, hey man, I'd like to get my guitar set up, but do you have one of yours that I can play? I'd say, well, which one would you like to play? If you scratch it, I will thump you in the eyeball. So, you know, because I got a lot of money wrapped up in these helps. This one was almost $950 out the door. That one with the case was over $800. I guess you can't see that one. That one right there. Gretsch 2622. Got a Gibson SG hanging over there. But anytime anybody plays one of my guitars, they're like, damn, I like that. So anyway, not that I'm bragging, I'm not. It took me, it took me a long time to learn how to do it right and to buy the tools that I need to do that stuff. But anyway, there are a lot of mitigating factors, and pickups are expensive, man. I just bought a 2021 Gibson ES335 with the T-type pickups, and it has a bit of a different sound. It's I guess what they call the warm sound, and it's taken a little bit of getting used to that tone, because I mean I have the thoughts of, well, I told you I changed the pickups in my Les Paul. It had classic 57s in it, and it's not that they sounded bad or anything, but they just, when I think of a Les Paul, I think of something that's got some fangs, not this nice, pretty, it's like I expect pretty out of this, okay? My Les Paul, I expect that thing to be breathing fire when I turn it up, and it just, it'd growl, but it just didn't. I don't know. The thing sat in the case all the time. I pull it out to play it every once in a while, and I was like, well, I don't want to get any scratches in it, so I put it back in the case, and it just didn't get a whole lot of playing. But boy, I put some Seymour Duncan Fat Cats in there, and now that thing stays out of the case 90% of the time. It totally changed the character of the guitar. But I made a drastic change in the pickups too, because over the top isn't necessarily what I want, but in my Les Paul, I want it kind of over the top, because I want it to sound like I got what I imagine some Dirty Fingers pickups would sound like, or, whatever, something that's made to peel some paint off the wall. So, but aside from that, I have found that just about any guitar that I play, including some of the ones that are not so expensive, a little bit of tuning goes a long way. So don't be so quick to just change a bunch of shit. Do some tuning on it first. Do the stuff that you have to do anyway, like doing a good proper setup on your guitar. Make sure the neck's straight, make sure that the frets are level. Make sure the pickups are at a reasonable height, because it's like my 335 came. the pickups were damn near touching the strings. I was like, okay, who's the horse's patootie who set this up? It was terrible. The action wasn't too bad. It wasn't like on my Les Paul. When I got my Les Paul, man, I could damn near stick my fingers under my pinky under the damn strings, which that's an exaggeration, but the action was insanely high. But it was 2017 model. That was when they were having all their QC issues. But anyway, do good things to the guitar before you start changing parts. You know, it's like going and buying a car and going, well, I'm just gonna buy it, take it home, and pull the motor out and put a bigger motor in. Well, maybe you can just tune the motor you have, and a lot of times it isn't balls to the wall power that we want. What we want is it to run really good and have plenty of zip to get around with, because it's like you can only go so fast down the highway before you draw the attention of the cops and shit like that. Okay? I mean, you can put a Ferrari engine in a Pinto or whatever the small cars are these days, but is it really going to do you any good? That's my point right there. If you can accomplish what you're trying to get to without putting the Ferrari motor in it, aren't you going to be just as happy and not have to spend 10 grand? Or in this case, you know, several $100s. Because I mean, a set of like pearly gates, those things are like $250 for a couple. That's about $125 a pickup, which it's like, it's a fucking pickup, man. But you know, whatever. I mean, if you have a cheap guitar, this isn't a cheap guitar, but if you have a cheap guitar and you have, you know, if it comes from another country and you open up the back and it's got cheap electronics in it, well, put some good quality electronics in it, or take it to a tech and have them, you know, redo the electronics and put some good quality parts in there, some switchcraft, you know, switches, the plug, you know, some CTS pots, or you know, whatever you think is good quality, and a good wiring job, and have them do a good setup while you're there, and you will probably quit thinking about another set of pickups, or you know, doing some crazy things to your guitar. So anyway, I mean, to each his own. If you can't live with yourself without going and getting some new pickups without trying these things first, well, I mean, hey, if you've got the money to do that, knock yourself out. I mean, obviously I have enough money to buy this many guitars. I mean, it's taken me a number of years to do this, but you know, it's all good. It's all good, seriously. So, but just some advice from Uncle Jeff, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, have a wonderful day. I appreciate you stopping by, and as usual, please come on by Wickedoil.com and get some oil for your car, your truck, your pickup, your motorcycle, your lawnmowers, your boat, your ATV, your ATC, your PWC, and your QRF, and your XYZ, and all those other things. I promise you, you cannot find a better lubricant, and you can easily triple your oil change intervals, meaning if you're normally supposed to change at 5,000, you can, just about all the cars out there, you can safely run them up 10, 15,000 miles before you need to change the oil, because this stuff is that good. And you can verify that with oil analysis, but that's another video. Anyway, thank you. Have a wonderful evening, and thanks for stopping by.